Is Prehistoric Kingdom better than Jurassic World Evolution 2? The king is dead? Long live the king? No, I don't believe that at all. I think both games are dinosaur park building royalty, but they are actually very different, and that is what this video is about. The differences between Prehistoric Kingdom and Jurassic World Evolution 2. So you can decide which one you like better, or if you are like me and you think they are both worth playing and you just feel blessed at how much dinosaur stuff we are getting this year. And speaking of dinosaur stuff, let's start with the dinosaurs themselves. Jurassic World Evolution 2 takes its dinosaur designs from the movie franchise, and because of that they have a certain look to them. They set the baseline in 1993 and they are forced to stick with that. Prehistoric Kingdom takes an entirely different approach with their dinosaur models based more on the current scientific understanding of them. This makes the dinosaurs look completely different. That alone would be enough to make the two stand out from one another, but there is way more. Prehistoric Kingdom's dinosaurs are not copies of one another. If you select the same species, even with the same skin, there will be subtle differences to the individuals in their sizing and coloration. Some will be slightly bigger, some will have more saturated skin colors. This makes the individual dinosaurs feel more unique, and that is further helped by the fact that each dinosaur is given a name by the game itself. On top of that, your Prehistoric Kingdom parks can be home to both male and female dinosaurs, and there is sexual dimorphism between the two. Last 2 points with regards to the dinosaurs themselves is that 1. In Prehistoric Kingdom we can make shelters for our dinosaurs, and actually we should. It's another thing that makes the dinosaurs feel more real and like we're really taking care of them. And 2. We have micro exhibits for the smallest creatures in the game. It is admittedly a little silly that in Jurassic World Evolution 2 the compies have to be behind this huge tall steel fence. In Prehistoric Kingdom we have cages for the Microraptor and the Archaeopteryx. Let's get some of the small stuff out of the way before we get to what I think are the big hitters. In Prehistoric Kingdom the weather and time controls are more direct and more precise. You can switch off the day-night cycle and set it to any hour. If you change the weather, you change it immediately and permanently. Jurassic World Evolution 2 has Jeff Goldblum, Bryce Dallas Howard and B.D. Wong reprising their roles. Prehistoric Kingdom has none other than Nigel Marven, who is definitely iconic enough to stack up against those three. His voiceover injects a ton of nostalgia into the game. The price of the two games is also very different. This might be a bigger point for some people than for others. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is quite expensive at 60 euros. Prehistoric Kingdom literally costs only half that at 30 euros. But before you buy, stay tuned till the end of the video because there are very important differences influencing those price tags. First though, we have arrived at what I think truly sets the games apart. Prehistoric Kingdom has big square maps comparable to Planet Zoo, very different from the shaped maps in Jurassic World Evolution, and there is a lot we can do with that space. Although, not that many species yet, but we'll get to that. The terrain tools are also very similar to Planet Zoo. You can create much more dramatic terrain and you have a greater variety of terrain paints and tree brushes at your disposal. You can also set the water to different depths. Prehistoric Kingdom has some prefabricated buildings, but the real point of the game is its modular building system, with which you can build whatever you want. And that modular building system is, in my opinion, even superior to Planet Zoo. If you have the time, patience, and inspiration, the sky is truly the limit. There are a ton of modular pieces, each of which can be resized and reshaped, and most can be given a completely custom color. The system even includes VFX for waterfalls, fire, and smoke. I spent 80 hours building a park in the alpha version of the game that I was pretty proud of. The updates did wipe the save file, but I knew that would happen. Thankfully, I still have my tour video of the park, so I hope you'll check that out for some inspiration. I'll link it at the end of this video. Now, with all of that detailed building, a mistake is easily made. Thankfully, unlike Jurassic World Evolution 2, Prehistoric Kingdom has an undo as well as many other hotkeys to help you while building. I've done a video on that will also be linked in the end screen. If you are new to this game, it is pretty essential that you check that out so you won't be lost. Now, you might be looking at the differences so far and think to yourself, Evo, come on, Prehistoric Kingdom is better. Maybe on paper it is, in many ways at least, and some things like the terrain tools and the undo key are definitely better. But even though both games are dinosaur park builders, I don't think we should see it as a competition between the two. They're not actually trying to be the same thing. so we shouldn't hold them to the same standards. I'm personally very happy that we have both because I think they balance each other out very well. Yes, Prehistoric Kingdom has the endless customization options, but don't underestimate how much effort and time it takes to build something awesome. And let's be frank, not everyone can even truly make the most out of the customization. It puts a much higher demand on your creative abilities. Jurassic World Evolution 2 is easy, it's uncomplicated, and it's accessible to people at every skill level. With some tips like the ones I've always shared on my channel, anyone can build the best park possible in this game. And you can build that awesome park in just a day, so you get that instant sense of satisfaction and pride. Also, let's not downplay the effects of the fact that one game was also made to be compatible with console, and the other is a PC exclusive. If you spend a day building a park in Prehistoric Kingdom, it'll be pretty nice, it'll be okay, you can use the prefabricated buildings and all, but it'll be the bare minimum in that game. That wouldn't give me the same sort of pride. Instead, that would take about 80 hours. For me, it's not the case of which is better, it's just a case of which one am I in the mood for today? And again, how awesome is it that we have the option to choose? I think both games are worth having and worth our time. We're not done with the differences though, there are two more. The Jurassic World Evolution 2 creatures do definitely outnumber Prehistoric Kingdom. The Jurassic franchise's park builder currently has 90 species if you include the latest DLCs, 79 if you don't count those extra additions. Prehistoric Kingdom launches into early access with only 23 species. Jurassic World Evolution 2 has some lagoon animals that Prehistoric Kingdom lacks, but on the flip side, Prehistoric Kingdom does also include mammals in its roster. Now, if you're familiar with Prehistoric Kingdom, you are probably already typing that the developers are planning to have 50 creatures in the finished product. Aside from the fact that that is still less, most importantly, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, meaning to say it's all still planned. This is the final difference between the games. Prehistoric Kingdom is an unfinished game. While I do have high hopes for the further development of this game, the future is always uncertain. So I'm just looking at what the game is right now. We can debate about whether that's fair or not, but I just feel more comfortable with the certainty of what we have currently. Unfinished means that it has few species and it is lacking in mechanics. For example, the dinosaurs currently only have very basic behaviors. Stuff like escapes and dinosaur fighting are not yet a thing in Prehistoric Kingdom. That being said, in my opinion, Prehistoric Kingdom is already worth its price tag, and that's pretty impressive, and I would wholeheartedly recommend it to you. But I would also still recommend Jurassic World Evolution 2. That is one thing between the two games that is the same. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy both games.